With Gary for the other side of the story.
Well, here is the other side of the story. Christian Fittipaldi, we just heard from Greg Moore. What was your situation here going into that turn?
I think my situation was quite clear on the TV, and it was quite clear that I got hit by his front wheels on my rear wheels. So unfortunately, I think when that happens, it's not that we were racing, we were side by side. We went in the other corner side by side, and there was absolutely no problem. But the second corner, I had a half a car advantage, and I think he just forgot to brake, and he ran into me and nailed me into the wall.
Now, what did you tell him when you ran to him?
It's simple. You can lose a race on the first lap, and you can never win one on the first lap. There's still like an hour and 15 minutes to go, and lots of racing is going to happen, and I think he was a little bit too much revved up.
And we already hear that there's a $5,000 fine waiting for Christian Fittipaldi, a preliminary ruling. Billy Camphausen just told the team.
Now, Christian Fittipaldi and Greg Moore, both reasonable explanations. You figure it out for yourself as we go back to green flag racing. You noticed on the front of the Farron's car, as they sort out and farm in the first turn here, a bit of a black mark. Where'd that come from?
Well, I guess what happened was at the same time that Greg Moore and Christian were getting tied up, Robbie Gordon locked him
off the track. Sorry.
That's okay. Locked him up, and Gilles hit him up, you know, the backside, and just it doesn't look like it did any damage. Probably marked the nose cone, put some probably scrapes in it, but he seems to be running okay.
So there's Jimmy Vasser. He runs in second with Paul Tracy right behind him, Parker Johnstone and Scott Pruitt. Pruitt's made it out and around Johnstone. By the way, that's Christian's first DNF of the year. And Parker Johnstone, he's having a great race. His best finish is 11th at last year's Cleveland and Vancouver. He's up in the top 5. De Ferran, though, seems to be able to control this race. You haven't seen him much, merely for the fact that he pulls so far away so quick.
Well, it's true, but, you know, as we're seeing, you're never out of trouble. I mean, he had a problem. Robbie Gordon was 2 laps down, but Robbie locked up. He touches him. You still got to be able to get through the traffic. You never know what's going to happen, either in front of you or somebody doing some silly mistake. You just got to be careful. We've only halfway through this race, and there's been a lot of action.
Scott Pruitt working on Paul Tracy. It's the battle for third.
Of course, Jimmy Vasser's got to like that, because when the pressure starts going to the backside of Paul, then Jimmy gets a little bit of break, where Paul's got to concentrate a little bit on the guy behind him as well.
As we keep track of this fight, an announcement made here this weekend. Carl Haas has worked to deal with Swift to manufacture an Indy car for the season upcoming, and that'll mean we have an American chassis to join Dan Gurney's Eagle chassis in the series.
You know, isn't that incredible? How many years have we all known Carl Haas to be the Lola importer? Anything to do with Lola was Carl Haas. Everybody even believed Carl owned part of the factory. And now he's going to run a Swift next year. Which
is in large part, if not wholly, owned by Hero. Let's go to Michael Andretti. He's back in 7th place. Here he comes behind Al Unser Jr., now behind Eddie Lawson. On board with Michael, Lawson just ahead. Lawson, by the way, is joining a group of drivers who are heading out tomorrow to the aircraft carrier Carl Vinson to spend a couple of days watching the guys in the Navy, guys and gals in the Navy, don't want to make that mistake, as they launch and recover aircraft off the Carl Vinson, a nuclear-powered carrier.
And who put that deal together?
A little something I figured out. A little something.
Well, those guys in the Navy have been great. Of course,
Brian Herta in turn, and Robbie Gordon in the last turn, the hairpin.
Remember, that's one of our spots I said was a little bit of a sucker spot. Robbie, of course, wants a jump start. Of course, he's 2 laps down, but sure, he wants to get back into this race.
Yeah, but you know what?
There he goes. They're giving him a start. He's
here's what set it up.
Comes in, takes a look, goes inside, and Brian doesn't see him.
Is that the visibility issue again?
No, it's just one of those spots that you think the guy's got to really to take a chance to go in there. It could be a little visibility because you've just come around that left-hander, but that's one of those spots that ask you to come in there, and it's not always the best place to go.
Now, Robbie Gordon gets the better of that one as Brian Herta is still sitting by the edge of the circuit. There's your leader, Gil de Ferran. His bright yellow Pennzoil car. And he is 5 seconds ahead of second place. Jeff Krosnoff here with Toyota Power. Unfortunately out. Gary?
He had a dream as a 13-year-old when he first came to this street circuit and watched the Formula One cars. Now he's here driving. Unfortunately, a short day, Jeff. I know you had difficulty in the warm-up this morning. Did that just continue then in the race?
Right. I mean, the guys did a great job to get me back out for the race, for the start. Unfortunately, it just didn't come right. We gave it our best effort, but, you know, it was bigger than us today.
A steep learning curve. Hang in there.
Thank you very much.
Paul.
Great guy, though, Jeff Krosnoff. Has a band of IndyCar drivers we saw perform this weekend.
And he didn't sound too bad on those drums, did he?
So Joe DeFerrin is the leader of the race. There's the smudge for Robbie Gordon's car on the nose. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your ABC stations.
For cars that can benefit from higher octane, Texaco Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium were formulated to clean your engine's intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers while you're driving, to give you smooth starts and sure acceleration. Just give us 5 tanks, and we think Power Plus and Power Premium will make quite an impression on you.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
You get your passing gear, you're gone.
The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Splitfire Performance V spark plugs mean better performance, more horsepower, and better mileage. So say the experts and the people who use them.
They're the best plugs I ever put in my car.
Enter the Performance Zone only with Splitfire Performance V's, guaranteed.
Firehawk, born at Indy, driven everywhere.
Okay, so you're out in the middle of nowhere, trapped inside a giant maze. A 10-ton ball is chasing you. It's trying to crush you. Hey, it could happen. The powerful, comfortable T100 Extra Cab. It's the Toyota of big trucks.
ABC Sports coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Brought to you by Mobil Motor Oil. At Mobil, we've been changing oil for over 125 years. Monroe's Sensatrack shocks and struts, making the road a safer place. John Deere, makers of quality lawn and grounds care equipment. Nothing runs like a Deere. And Splitfire. Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, there's no question that Jim Hall's driver, Jill DeFerrin, is in charge of this race with a 5.5-second lead over Jimmy Vasser as we look at the interval leaderboard back through Al Unser Jr. DeFerrin moves around Lawson. And we had an indication that there is some debris on the track. In 2 weeks on ABC Sports, Emerson Fittipaldi will try to defend his title on the track at Nazareth. We'll join these drivers in Pennsylvania for the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix. The race begins at 2 Eastern, 1 Central and Pacific, April 28th, right here on ABC Sports. We talked about the debris. Looks like it came off of Michaels.
Yeah, that looks like Michaels' wing.
Yeah.
He must have run up underneath somebody. It looks like on the left side, you can see that piece torn up. He obviously got up underneath somebody, but he must not think it's too bad. Look at that wing flapping on the left side.
Yeah, that's
see that thing flapping up and down right in the front
like
of the
upper
tire?
element is bouncing there. I wonder what the officials will think of that one.
Well, if they think it's dangerous, they'll black flag him. But also, see, he's got that a little bit more understeer there. Not as much downforce on the front, so he's going to have to turn the wheels more. But it might be running around a lap or two to give the pits time to get ready to change something.
Well, we've seen Al Unser Jr. with one wing, in fact, the left front, all the way up in the air, almost vertical, and go on and win the race with it that way. So, you know, maybe it doesn't matter. Let's take a look, and we can see what happened to Michael to damage that.
Oh, we got this great overhead. looks like he's going in. Oh! You know, see, he wasn't completely by him. Teo Fabi just went in there, just cut that wing right to pieces.
Was he trying to get Teo's attention, or was he waving at the pits when he went by?
I don't know, because it looked like it was past where the pit was. He could have been taking a tear off. That's the little plastic piece that goes over your visor in case you get oil. You tear it off. That's why they call it a tear off, and tear it off and it just throws away.
And we haven't seen it from that angle, so it's the first time we've seen a driver do that. Down through the gears. There's Fabi.
And you're going to see Teo. See, he just comes in because Michael's not there. He's not in his view. Boy, he just shreds that front wing. And I'm looking out of the window here from the booth, and I can see that Michael's guys are kind of standing around waiting in case he wants to come in.
Let's go to the pits and Gary.
Quick report on Raul Boisel. Just left the pits, back on circuit for the Brahma Sports team. We've talked about brakes and how they can be a problem. Well, he obviously had braking problem, and we understand now he's off the circuit. They were bleeding the brakes. They fired the engine and sent him back out. But obviously things not going well for Raul, whose best finish this year was 7th down in South America.
Yeah, just take a look real quick on his left rear tire and his right front. You can see the blisters on there of the of where he's having problems. He's probably locking it up, and of course this isn't a place you want to have brake problems.
Jimmy Vasser, the points leader, as we've got well, Teo Fabi, as a result of that confrontation, as he has to limp back.
Exactly. When he shredded that, it obviously tore up his tire. Now he's got a long way to go. He's just past the second, third turn. He's got a long way to go with that tire as far off as it is right now, and he's going to be lucky to get it back with no suspension damage.
Teo Fabi has to work his way back to the pit and be very careful to hope that that rubber doesn't bounce around and rip the rest of the car up. He was running 10th before he got into this situation. So it's still Gil DeFerrin, led right from the start on this race, and he commands the action with points leader Jimmy Vasser chasing him down. This is what the new aquarium will look like here. They're under construction right now, a 156,000 square foot building with a projected attendance of 2.2 million visitors a year. It will become true to life of this sculpture with a blue whale out to greet everybody right at the front of the lobby. And it should be terrific. There's the work they're doing on it right now. We'll be right back.
People are selling tools today on the market that I don't even think they know where they're made, and they're not a quality tool. One thing about the Craftsman tool, it's made here, and you know the quality's good.
1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
If something happens to it, you can take it back, and you know where to take it back because you know where it come from.
Only at Sears.
Target teammates, Alex Zanardi and Jimmy Vasser.
Alex? Hey, there's nobody better. I mean, he was born to drive.
I'm new to the Target team, but Jimmy has made me feel right at home.
Alex is the fastest thing on 4 wheels. Really.
Words cannot describe how I feel about Jimmy.
Just how long does a car battery last? About this much time is put into most batteries. But AC Delco puts in more time, so our batteries last over 20% longer. Well, now there's the new Delco Freedom 84, our longest lasting battery ever. We put in 7 years of guaranteed starts, making it the granddaddy of all batteries.
Hey, my watch!
The world's top gymnasts compete in the event final.